Takashi is a heartbroken loser whose best friend ended up dating the girl he had a crush on. But when a sudden zombie outbreak begins, he seizes the opportunity to win her back and ends up forming a group of hot girls to stick with while surviving the end of the world before the apocalypse. Takashi was skipping his second class. He sat alone, sulking, thinking about his childhood crush, Rei, who once promised to marry him. But after she had to repeat a year, she and Takashi drifted apart, and now she's dating his best friend. Then Takagi walks in, scolding him for skipping class, leaning toward him and flaunting her bouncing curves. Takashi fires back, pointing out that she isn't in class either. Takagi defends herself by saying she's smart and like him, a total idiot. The way she says it hits him, and Takashi asks why she always acts like that. She shrugs and says she hates people who don't even realize how stupid they are. She keeps complaining, but Takashi tunes her out, lost in his own thoughts. That irritates her, and she storms off. He still remembers when Rei told him she had been giving him signs that she liked him, but he never noticed, and she eventually got tired of waiting. At that moment, a loud noise echoes from the school's front gate. A strange man is slamming his head against it. 4 teachers rush outside. One of them, Ms. Ryashi, blessed with her generous chest, tries to calm him down. The man doesn't respond, so Mr. Tadima steps in to restrain him. Just when he thinks he has the situation under control, the man bites him. Mr. Tadima falls, and as they try to help him, he suddenly grabs Ms. Ryashi by the neck and bites her. Seeing all of this, Takashi runs back into the building. The only thing on his mind is Rei. He doesn't care about getting in trouble for skipping class. He has to find her. When he does, Rei's new boyfriend, Hisashi, is already with her. Hisashi asks what's going on, and Takashi bluntly tells them that someone just died at the gate. Rei tries to argue, but Takashi slaps her hard, snapping them back to reality, and they decide to run. Takashi explains everything he saw, and the 3 of them rush to find anything they can use as weapons. Still clinging to normalcy, Rei tries calling her father, who is a police officer. But the police lines are busy. Then the school's emergency broadcast begins. A teacher's voice announces that violence has broken out and that the staff needs to evacuate the students. But before he can finish, a horrifying sound cuts him off. His brutal death is broadcast live over the microphone. Sending the entire school into panic, Hisash, I tells Takashi they need to head to the roof but not through the main stairs. The stairways are packed with panicked students, a deadly trap. On the walkway leading to the rooftop, they encounter a teacher who has already turned. He attacks Rei, who freezes in fear as he tries to bite into her soft flesh. Hisashi shouts at her to fight, and she does, stabbing the teacher in the chest. But even with his heart pierced, the teacher keeps moving, forcing Rei down into the perfect position to feed. Trying to play the hero, Hisashi grabs the man by the neck to save her. But the teacher suddenly turns and sinks his teeth into Hisashi's arm. Rei stabs him again from behind, but it's useless. Takashi realizes the truth. The teacher is already dead, driven only by hunger. Rei screams and desperately tries to pull the monster off her boyfriend, begging Takashi for help. Fueled by adrenaline, Takashi charges forward and decapitates the teacher. Rei doesn't thank him. She runs to Hisashi, who insists he's fine. But more screams echo from inside the building, and the infection spreads rapidly around them. They reach the rooftop and look out over the city, chaos and death everywhere. Helicopters fly overhead, but none of them stop to help. Back at the school, students are being devoured all around. Some hesitate for a moment before turning themselves on the rooftop. Takashi finally accepts that this is something straight out of a horror movie. They have no idea how it started, but now there's only one thing they can do: survive. They run for the rooftop, dodging and striking down the undead in their path. But on the stairway, Rei tries to play the hero and gets thrown hard against the wall. Hisashi reacts quickly and saves her before the 3 of them barricade themselves in Dot. By late afternoon, as the sun begins to set, Hisashi starts to change, blood pouring from his mouth. Rei refuses to believe it, but Takashi and Takagi exchange looks, fully aware of the grim reality they're living in. Barely conscious, Hisashi begs Takashi to kill him before it's too late. He doesn't want to become one of them. Rei clings desperately to hope, refusing to accept that this is the end. But her prayers are useless. Hizoshi's eyes grow cold, and in the next moment, he rises as something else entirely. The person he once was is gone. Takashi tightens his grip on his weapon, takes aim, and despite Rei's pleas for him to stop, he does what must be done. After Hizushi's lifeless body falls, Rei begins to break down. She says she would rather have died with him than live with Takashi. She accuses Takashi of killing Hisashi out of jealousy, claiming he was angry because Hisashi had her before he did. Takashi doesn't respond. After hearing Rei's painful words, he walks toward the barricade and begins dismantling it. Rei asks what he's doing, and Takashi tells her he's giving her what she wants. He's leaving, but Rei begs him to stay, apologizing for what she said. Seeing the girl he still loves pleading with him, Takashi gives in and pulls her into a tight embrace, slowly accepting the new reality they're facing. Elsewhere in the school, Takagi is doing her best to escape the undead, alongside Koda, the overweight, military-obsessed student. Koda asks her where they should go. She throws the question back at him, and he suggests the teacher's lounge. Takagi immediately dismisses the idea, saying that teachers won't be any help in a situation like this. From the walkway, she points out a group of students who tried exactly the tand just as she predicted. The teachers have already turned. Takagi bluntly tells Koda that their only objective now is survival. Back on the rooftop, Rei is still in shock over Hisashi's death. His body lies in front of them, and a heavy silence hangs in the air until Rei stands up and says she'll try calling her father again. Takashi hands her the phone. When her father answers, he recognizes Takagi's number, but doesn't realize it's Rei on the line. He begins explaining that the city is in chaos, and that Takagi must take Rei somewhere safe. Before he can finish, the signal cuts out. Rei collapses into tears, even in what might have been her last chance to speak to him. Her father didn't recognize his own daughter's voice. Meanwhile, Koda asks Takagi if she brought her phone, hesitantly saying he wanted to call the police. Takagi sighs and says calling the police is useless. Now everyone is trying to do the same thing. If anyone is receiving help, it's only important figures. With the government overwhelmed, no one is coming for them. After delivering that harsh truth, Takagi tells Koda to start running again. In her mind, she can't help thinking how much she wishes she had stayed with Takashi instead of being stuck with this overweight gun nerd at the infirmary. 2 students are already there, and one of them has turned. The school nurse, Shizuka, is painfully slow to grasp the danger. She casually gathers medicine, her curvy figure bouncing with each step. One of the students urges her to hurry, but she continues at her own pace. Suddenly, the undead bursts in and attacks the student, while Shizuka can only watch in shock. Just as he's about to be devoured, Seiko, the Kendo Club senior, arrives and cuts down the creature, saving them. But it's too late, the student has already been bitten. Saeko gently asks his name and tells him he knows what's coming. She asks if he wants to end it before he turns. With a weak smile, the boy nods. Shizuka protests, but Seiko calmly says it is her duty to protect a man's dignity. She honors his final request. Elsewhere, Takagi gathers tools and starts putting something together. She knows Koda loves military gear and asks him to build something useful. Kota's inner nerd activates instantly, ideas flooding his mind. At that moment, the undead break through the door and Takagi panics. But Kota finishes assembling an improvised Weapona nail gun. As one of the zombies bursts in, he's ready and armed. After clearing a path, Kota asks Takagi why she brought him along. She shrugs, saying there's no special reason. With no option but to survive, the two begin their own fight for survival. Back on the rooftop, Rei comes up with the idea of using a fire hose to hold back the zombies. Takashi is impressed by Rei's quick thinking, and she gives the credit to Hisashi, then falls silent, remembering he's gone. Takashi says nothing. Trying to lighten the mood, Rei says it's time to leave the rooftop. She hands him the baseball bat. It's time to move. Inside the building, Rei wonders where they should go. Takashi says they should find other survivors and then head home. Rei agrees and tells him to call his parents. Takashi shrugs it off, saying it doesn't matter. His father is out of town and his mother is a teacher. He doesn't show any concern in front of Rei, but deep down, he's worried about them. Elsewhere, Takagi and Kota try distracting the undead and discover that they seem to react to sound. Likely because they're blind now. Meanwhile, Seiko and Shizuka head toward the faculty room to look for car keys. Calm and focused, Seiko doesn't even bother fighting the zombies along the way, she simply pushes them aside. Shizuka asks why she isn't attacking them. Seiko explains that fighting takes time, and if they get trapped, they won't escape. Then Shizuka trips over a rug. As her usual exaggerated curves bounce dramatically, Seiko rips her tight skirt, saying it's too restrictive for a situation like this. Shizuka Protosit was her favorite skirt butt. Seiko doesn't care. Suddenly, they hear noises coming from an office. It's Kota and Takagi fighting off zombies. Kota shouts for help, but Takagi keeps yelling at him and refusing to assist. Then he points out the undead right behind her, and she finally screams. Everyone hears it and rushes over. Kota is nearly out of nails, and Takagi is cornered. She stumbles in front of a trophy shelf and starts throwing them, but nothing works. Her oversized ego doesn't help either until she grabs a power drill and drives it straight into a zombie's head. The rest of the group arrives, and with a single look, they move like a unit. Together, they clear the room with pure teamwork. Takagi stands frozen, staring at what she just did with the drill. Rei and Shizuka rush to her side, trying to calm her. Seiko introduces herself, and the others follow except Takagi. Still clinging to her pride, she says introductions are pointless now. She snaps that she's supposed to be the smartest one there, and shouldn't be reacting like this. Seiko sees the fear in her eyes and gently tells her it's okay to stop pretending. Takagi finally looks at herself in a mirror, covered in blood, and her arrogant facade slowly crumbles. She breaks down, crying uncontrollably. They eventually reach the teacher's lounge to regroup. When Kota tries to check on Takagi, he gets flustered seeing her with her glasses on, and is immediately scolded for being creepy. They discuss their escape plan and decide that as a group, they should use the school bus to rescue their families. At that moment, Rei sees on the TV news that the entire world is facing a zombie outbreak. Takagi grows frustrated, wondering why the government still refuses to explain what's happening. She quickly answers her own question, saying the government probably doesn't want to cause mass panic. Fear leads to chaos, and that's the last thing they need right now. The group becomes uneasy again. Rei still hopes everything will somehow return to normal, but Takagi dismisses the idea, saying this is an irreversible pandemic. She compares it to the Great Plagues of the Pestonali this time. There's no cure. Shizuka suggests that maybe the heat will cause the zombies to rot faster. Seiko asks how long it takes for a dead body to decompose. Shizuka thinks for a moment and says about 20 days in the summer, longer if it's cold. Takagi interrupts again, asking how they can even tell if zombies are decomposing. They've all seen the dead, they still walk, they still feed on, no one has an answer. But there's one thing they all agree on. They need to stick together and get out of this school. Seiko suggests helping any survivors they find. Takagi says the closest exit is through the parking lot gates. The group starts moving. Seiko reminds them to avoid unnecessary fights to conserve time and energy. Takagi reinforces that the undead react to sound. Suddenly, they hear a girl screaming from a stairwell where another group of survivors is trapped. Takashi's team moves like a trained squad. Kota provides long-range cover, while Kota provides cover from a distance. Seiko, Takashi, and Rei engage in close combat. They regroup and make their way to the main lobby, which is packed with Unda. Takagi explains that hiding is useless since the zombies only react to sound, but they can't stay trapped in the school forever. They need someone to test the theory. Takashi volunteers. Rei tries to stop him, but Seiko holds her back, saying they shouldn't stand in the way of his steel resolve. Takashi walks down the stairs and heads straight into the crowd of zombies. One approaches him, but to his surprise, it walks right past. He then tests Takagi's theory by throwing a noisy object. The undead immediately turn toward the sound, confirming they only react to noise. Moving silently, the group weaves through the horde to reach the bus. But one of the rescued survivors accidentally knocks something over. The crash echoes, and suddenly every zombie converges on them. Chaos erupts, and everyone runs. Takagi yells at Takashi for saving the person who made the noise. But Rei snaps that it doesn't matter, they need to move. One of the survivors is attacked, and his girlfriend refuses to leave him. Takagi tries to stop her, but she shoves past and runs back to him. Takagi doesn't understand why anyone would do that. Shizuka softly explains that some people would rather die together in a broken world like this. Takagi grumbles about logic, but Kota suddenly protects her from a zombie without even thinking. He doesn't know why he did it. Takagi freezes, stunned by the gesture. With the path finally clear, Shizuka reaches the school bus and takes the driver's seat while everyone piles in. But before they can leave, another group arrives led by someone Rei instantly recognizes Shido. The teacher she despises most. One of the students in Shido's group trips and falls. Instead of helping, Shido kicks him aside and climbs onto the bus with a sinister smile, declaring that the weak don't deserve safety. Shizuka forces herself to abandon her gentle nurse persona. Convincing herself that the undead are no longer people, she drives straight through a crowd of zombies as if hitting potholes. Once they're on the road, Shido thanks Seiko and suggests she lead the group. Seiko calmly declines. Seizing the opportunity, Shido announces that every group needs a leader. Rei leans toward Takashi and whispers that he'll regret letting that disgusting man onto the bus. They reach the highway and see the city in chaos fires raging. Buildings collapsing, beaches deserted. Suddenly, one of Shido's students speaks up, saying he doesn't want to be in the same group as Takashi. Another claims they should have stayed at the school. Fed up with the complaints, Shizuka slams on the brakes. Her curvy frame bounces as she turns and yells at them to shut up because they're distracting her. Seiko calmly asks the loudmouth what he wants. He points at Takashi and demands that he be thrown off the bus. Kota prepares to raise his nail gun, but Takagi stops him. Takashi confronts the guy, asking what his problem is. Just as the student is about to attack him, Rei smashes him with her bat. Shido claps slowly, clearly amused by Takashi's group. He begins giving a speech, presenting himself as the ideal leader, and somehow, people start believing him. Rei has had enough. She decides to leave the bus, saying she'd rather face the undead than spend another second with that man. Takashi follows her, trying to convince her to stay. But before they can settle anything, another bus crashes at the entrance of a tunnel, packed with zombies. It explodes, blocking the road and separating Takashi and Rei from the others. Sako jumps off the bus to check on them. Takashi shouts that they'll regroup at the police station at 7 that night. The group splits again. Takashi and Rei enter the tunnel as flames from the crash spread behind them. They stop to catch their breath when a zombie biker suddenly appears behind Takashi. Just before it can bite him, Rei smashes its skull with a brick. She helps Takashi up. And using the biker's motorcycle, they head toward the city as they ride. Takashi can't stop thinking about how normal everything was just a few hours ago. Now his school, his friends, his everyday life, they're gone. He's escaped rooftops, made unlikely allies, and survived total chaos. Rei breaks the silence, asking if he thinks anyone will come to save them. No one is coming. Rei sighs, saying he's always so negative. Takashi shrugs, replying that he's just being realistic. Won't help them now. Rei is about to argue, but her raised voice attracts nearby zombies. Takashi revs the engine, and they speed off. Meanwhile, back on the bus, Shizuka finds herself trapped on a bridge. The groups begin to fracture. Saiko stays with her core team, while Shido gathers his students around him, already charming the girls with sweet, sticky promises and manipulative words back in the city. Takashi and Rei ride through empty streets, where people have either fled or turned into the undead. They spot an abandoned police car and stop. Rei searches it for weapons, anything they can use to survive. She finds a handgun and hands it to Takashi. He checks it. It's loaded. They take whatever supplies they can and head back to the road, this time searching for a gas station. They'll need fuel if they want to keep going. Eventually, they find one, but it's automatic and only accepts credit cards. Takashi has no money, and Rei left her wallet at school. That leaves them with one option: rob the convenience store. Takashi breaks into the register to grab some cash, while Rei waits outside with the motorcycle. Reflecting on how insane this day has become, suddenly, someone grabs her from behind. Takashi rushes out of the store to find a large man with wild eyes holding a knife to Rei's throat. The man rants that he watched his entire family turn and had to put them down himself. Now he's alone. Despertan wants a piece of Rei. With sausage-like fingers gripping her tightly. he starts touching her inappropriately, taunting Takashi. He orders him to drop the baseball bat and fill up the motorcycle's tank. If he tries anything, Rei is dead. Takashi deliberately throws the bat aside, letting it clatter loudly against the concrete to create noise. Then, slowly, he begins pumping gas, buying time while his hand inches toward the hidden gun he kept earlier. Raising his voice and loosening his grip on the knife, Takashi sees his chance. He steps forward, gun raised, aiming at the man's chest. The man laughs, daring him to shoot, claiming the whole station will explode. But there's no hesitation in Takashi's eyes. He refuses to let a thug lay hands on the girl he cares about. He pulls the trigger. The gunshot tears through the night air, echoing across the city loud enough to attract nearby zombies. Rei wants to finish the man off, but Takashi stops her. That single shot was already too much. They need to leave. They jump on the motorcycle and speed away, leaving the wounded man behind as the undead converge on him and the city swallows them once more. At the airport, the last private jet prepares for takeoff. In the distance, 2 mercenaries provide sniper cover for the landing zone. One of them, a woman named Rika, is among the top 5 snipers in the country. They've been hired to secure the area for a group of VIPs fleeing the chaos. Her partner tries to flirt with her, offering to massage her sore muscles, but she ignores him. She's more interested in getting back and reuniting with her friend Shizuka. Meanwhile, the bus remains stuck on the bridge, waiting for an opening. Shido behaves as if this were a school field trip, calmly instructing everyone to stay quiet, hide, avoid contacting family members, and trust him as the expert. Not far away, Kota dozes off peacefully until Takagi abruptly wakes him. She asks which direction they should take. Kota considers the outskirts of the city, but Takagi points to the Skyat, the airplane, saying many people will try to flee to islands or military zones in the mountains. Asterisk, Kota suggests Okinawa might be a destination. Takagi adds that places like Hokkaido or Kyushu, but getting there won't be easy. If the government or military has already established safe zones, they'll likely restrict entry to prevent infected people from entering. Everyone will protect their own, just like Shido, who is clearly trying to build his own twisted little community by seducing students. Especially the girls, Kota grows serious and offers to take care of Shido. But Takagi stops him, saying it's not worth it. Their priority is crossing the city. Then she murmurs quietly, hoping Takashi is safe. Kota overhears and casually teases her about liking Takashi. Takagi immediately denies it, but it's too late. Seiko and Shizuka have already heard. Both look uneasy, knowing Takashi and Rei are still out there. Across the city, things are getting worse. Gangs roam the streets, spreading chaos. Takashi and Rei have to speed past a gunfight, just to avoid getting caught in it. Their goal is to cross the bridge, but the crowds and violence make it nearly impossible. Takagi changes course and looks for another route. On the main bridge, panic is already spreading. The undead have arrived. The military tries to maintain order, but people are no longer listening. Desperate, the soldiers stop all vehicles and threaten to punish anyone who causes trouble. At that moment, some students rush the checkpoint, ignoring the soldiers' commands. As a result, they are blasted off the bridge by a powerful water cannon. Back on the bus, Shido is completely unhinged, still rambling about leadership in total delusion. Seiko has had enough, calling him a cult leader, and Takagi agrees. She looks around at the other students, all hypnotized by Shido's false confidence and unsettling charisma. Seiko says they need to leave the bus if they want to reach the police station and reunite with Takashi. Takagi hesitates, then awkwardly asks Seiko why she seems more concerned about Takashi than her own family. Seiko calmly replies that she only has her father, and he's overseas. For now, what matters is her own safety and keeping her promise to meet. Takashi Shizuka jumps in and asks where everyone's families are. Takagi explains that she and Takashi are neighbors. Kota says his family is scattered, his father in Amsterdam, his mother in Paris, and his grandfather, a cruise ship captain, is away with his grandmother. Shizuka smiles and says she'll stick with this group. Her parents aren't around, her siblings are out of town. And most importantly, she hates SHIDOU. They all agree and form a plan to walk to another bridge. Shido notices them moving and tries to stop them. but Takagi immediately shuts him down, saying her group doesn't need him. Shido's sinister grin returns as he turns to Shizuka, claiming they need a nurse in his group. As he approaches, Kota fires a warning shot that grazes Shido's cheek. Shidou explodes in anger, but Kota cuts him off. Shido always treated him like trash. Now there's no school and no rules. Kota can shoot him whenever he wants. With that, Seko, Shizuka, Takagi, and Kota step off the bus, leaving Shido behind. Elsewhere, Takashi and Rei are stuck on another bridge, trapped in a traffic jam. The road ahead is blocked and time is running out. They need to reach the police station. Suddenly, they hear gunfire. Takashi immediately recognizes the sound. It's Kota shooting. The group is trapped on the bridge. Without hesitation, Takashi revs the engine and charges forward, Fast and Furious style, shouting about family as he launches the motorcycle over debris and lands right where the others are cornered. Where the others are cornered, Rei jumps into the fight. Takashi tosses his gun to Kota and advances alongside Seiko. The two move in perfect sync, cutting down the remaining undead with precise teamwork. When the dust settles, Rei runs straight into Shizuka's arms, burying her face against the nurse's soft embrace. Takashi checks on Seiko, asking if everyone's okay, but both Takagi and Rei don't look thrilled seeing Seiko so close to him. Meanwhile, Kota is in pure bliss. He finally has a real firearm in his hands. With the sun beginning to set and the police station still far away, they need shelter. That's when Shizuka remembers her friend Rika, who has an apartment nearby. The group decides to head there, and Takashi transports them one by one on the motorcycle. When it's Shizuka's turn, her usual innocent lack of personal space gives Takashi a very close and unforgettable experience riding together. That night, the chaos only intensifies. The world now knows the zombie virus is a global crisis, and the government can no longer control the masses rushing toward shelters. The group finally reaches the apartment. The girls quickly claim the bathroom, eager to wash up together. For them, hot water, clean towels, and real shampoo feel like a small slice of paradise in the middle of hell. They laugh and splash water, enjoying a rare moment of relief. Meanwhile, the boys can only sit outside, listening to the heavenly sounds coming from behind the door. Takashi and Kota focus on opening one of the safes they find in the apartment. Inside, they discover a stockpile of ammunition, and in the second safe, 3 firearms. Kota's eyes shine like it's Christmas morning. Practically drooling, he says they are completely illegal. All that firepower now in their hands. While Kota gushes over the weapons, Takashi casually picks one up and points it at him. Kota immediately panics, shouting never to point a gun at someone, even if it's unloaded. Then both fall silent. It sinks in there, no longer just fighting the undead. This is a war zone. Kota murmurs that there's no more negotiation. Now they shoot to survive. They load the rifles and store the rest of the ammunition. Kota casually mentions he trained at a survival academy for a month with a former Delta Force soldier. Takashi stares at him, both impressed and horrified, saying how glad he is their friends. Takashi wonders who Shizuka's friend really is to own equipment like this. Kota explains that technically it's not illegal to buy the parts separately, it only becomes a crime when assembled. Shizuka had said her friend was part of a special assault team, but officers usually live in dorms. If she has an apartment like this, she must be very wealthy. From the bathroom, the girls' laughter grows louder. Kota worries the undead might hear them, but Takashi reassures him that the bridge is far noisier and will attract them first. On the bridge, chaos continues. People try to force their way into shelters. Riots break out. Protesters demand answers about the virus's origin. The police receive direct orders: protect the shelters at all costs. When protesters break through barricades, an officer asks for confirmation. The order is clear. Takashi and Kota use binoculars to watch. Kota spots a news crew and tells Takashi to turn on the TV. The broadcast shows protests accusing the government of using quarantine as an excuse to keep shelters exclusive. Flyers claim the virus is a biological weapon. Though no one knows the truth, Takahashi comments that in games and movies it's always some biological weapon, but this feels more like a conspiracy theory. Back on the bridge, the undead advance and the police fire. A woman runs with her daughter, begging them not to shoot, but the girl has already turned. She bites her mother, and following orders. The officers have no choice but to pull the trigger. A man screams, accusing the police of murder. The chief calmly tells him twice to step back. When he refuses again, the chief draws his pistol and shoots him, following orders to control the chaos at any cost. For a moment, everything goes silent, and the broadcast cuts off. Takashi turns off the TV and wants to leave immediately. But Kuta shakes his head. It's too dangerous at night. Suddenly, Shizuka appears crawling in from behind. Drunk and laughing, bumping straight into Takashi. Her generous curves nearly smother him as she plants a kiss on his cheek. He tries to stop her, but his hands land where they shouldn't, making her giggle happily before he pulls away. Still, completely out of it, Shizuka turns to Kuta and kisses him on the cheek too, frying his brain instantly. Takashi sighs and carries her to her room, thinking that under different circumstances, this could turn into an entirely different kind of scene. But just as he says that out loud, Rei appears, also drunk, staring at him with Shizuka slung over his back. Rei leans forward with a dazed expression, mutters something about seeing three of him, then collapses to the floor. She begins crying, whispering about her father, and Takashi gently lays Shizuka in bed and covers her. Just when he thinks things can't get more complicated, he notices Takagi sleeping on the couch, her curves barely contained. He goes to the fridge to grab something to eat and doesn't notice Seiko cooking behind him, saying she's preparing dinner. When he turns around, he freezes she's wearing nothing but an apron, the kind of sight that feels like every man's dream of seeing his wife like that. Seiko explains she couldn't find anything else that fit, so she put that on. Takashi says it's a bit risky, but she brushes it off, saying she trusts him and Kuta. Heavy footsteps echo from the stairs. It's Rei, still drunk, now demanding Takashi's attention. Seiko steps aside. Rei rambles about Hisashi, how sweet and affectionate he was. She says Takashi is too blunt, unlike Hisashi. He stays quiet, hands her a drink, and asks if she's tired. That sets her off again. She calls him insensitive, unlike Hisashi. Takashi finally snaps, refusing to be compared to someone who's dead. He admits he'll never be Hisashi, but he's the only one she has now. Stunned, Rei stares at him. Her tearful eyes lock onto his, and in that moment, she kisses him.